What's up, everybody? Y'all come on in. What's up, Tiffany? What's up, Michelle? What's up, Brandy? Y'all come on in. What's up, Perla? What's up, Ava? What's up, Lania? What's up, Mia? What's up, Ray? What's up, Portia? What's up, Adira? What's up, Anu? What's up, Miss Pat? Y'all come on in. What's up, Tiffany? What's up, Ty? What's up, Gigi? What's up, Claudia? What's up, Karen? We'll give them another minute, y'all. We'll get started. All right. How about we begin? Title of this lecture is called World Ghetto. So, let's raise the frequency. while the others die. Well, motherfuckers had no money spots. And if they did, then they asked what it's saying when all the money stopped. I'm from the ghetto, so I'm used to that. Look on your motherfucking map and find Texas and see where Houston at. It's on the borderline of hard times. And it's seldom that you hear niggas breaking and giving God time. That's why I ask my mom to pray for me. Because I know that even I got to die, and it got a day for me. And every morning I wake up, I'm kinda glad to be alive. Cause thousands of my homeboys died. And very few died of old age. In most cases, the incident covered up the whole place. From Amsterdam to Amarillo. It ain't no secret. The world is a ghetto. Niggas died in guerrilla warfare in a village in Africa, but did nobody care? They just called up the goddamn grave digger and said, come get these motherfucking niggas. Just like they do in the 5th Ward, in the South Park, in the Bronx, and the Watts. You know they got crooked cops working for the system, making poor motherfuckers out of victims. And don't nobody give a fuck about the poor. It's double jeopardy if you're black or Latino. They got their motherfucking drugs in the slums, got us killing one another over crumbs. Think I'm lying? Well, motherfucker, I got proof. Name a section in the city where minorities grew. And I'ma show you prostitutes, dope, and hard times. And a murder rate that never declines. And little babies sitting on the porch smelling smelly. Crying cause they ain't got food in their bellies. They call my neighborhood a jungle. And me an animal, like they do the people of Rwanda. Fools flee in their countries to come here, black. But see the same bullshit and head right back. They find out what niggas already know. What's up out of town? Southern nigga down. I wish you would bring your motherfucking ass around here with that hip shit from your block. You fuck around and get your home to your mama in a pine box. Cause we don't play that shit hip hard. We got killers and hustlers and players too, so niggas disregard what you're seeing on them Western movies. Cause yo, I ain't never rode a horse before. So take we smoke, smash the gas. And watch how fast I put these hands on your bitch ass. Try to load them dice, you meet the grave digger. Cause game recognized, game shiesty ass nigga. See how that thing moves not for less than a goddamn cigarette butt for fucking with my set. So get that frown off your face, buster. Cause your ghetto ain't no harder than mine, motherfucker. The world is a ghetto. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So let us begin. World ghetto. Let's get it. So, let's ask the question. What is a ghetto? According to Google, a ghetto is a slum area of a city that is occupied by a minority group or groups. You see what I'm saying? Or groups that have been ostracized and impoverished, right? So now, knowing that, they just tell you like it is. They tell you what type of world you live in. They're not hiding this. Now, get the world ghetto. You see what I'm saying? The world ghettos. Ghettos appear all across the world as being more impoverished socially, legally, and economically. And you have more pressure on you because you live in such a hard state. You see what I'm saying? Such a hard state. And everybody's trying to see, like, why is it so hard for us? Why? Well, if you know the history of the ghetto, you know why. The first ghetto was erected in Venice, Italy in 1516 to pretty much isolate and throw away. It was pretty much an impoverished area of the city where the Jews were segregated and kicked out of their reality. You see what I'm saying? And so when the Jews got kicked out and they rose to power, what do you think they did to the rest of the world as a form of revenge? They ostracized it. They ostracized the rest of us as a form of revenge. Now, there's two forms of Jews out there in Israel. You got the Seraphim, and then you got the Ashkenazim Jews, or who are actually the Khazars. The Seraphim are they are the descendants of the Blackamoors, right? The Ashkenazi are descendants of the Khazars. You see what I'm saying? So they are at war with each other too. They don't really get along with each other, but they'll come together to fuck up the rest of the world. You see what I'm saying? They up under what you call the Jesuit order. The Jesuit order issues all fucking groups, all fucking orders and wars all across the world. You see what I'm saying? Because the Pope answers to the Jesuit priest, the Jesuit general. You see what I'm saying? I think he's still alive. I think his name is Adolfo something, but I can't remember his last name. But they answer to the Black Pope, who is actually a Blackamoor who is running the show behind the scenes. And so they answer to the Black Pope, who I suspect is actually in America. They're not telling you that. But yeah, I think that motherfucker's in America. I don't think he in Israel. Motherfuckers tell you that he in Israel. I think that motherfucker's in America. Somewhere low-key living in a mansion out here, away from all the turmoil that's going on. But he issues out orders to the rest of them motherfuckers, and they go and they authorize wars all across the planet and create this ghetto, this world ghetto, this world hell, this prison planet. That's why we said we are on a prison planet. Hell, like I said, we really on an asylum. But we'll get to the asylum side of it at another time. So yeah, what's up real quick? What's up, John? So, since the world is a ghetto, as they showed you in the show, he did what? He went through a portal. That's the only way you're going to get up out of here. You got to go through your own portal to find another way inside of you. You see what I'm saying? So, since the Jews rule the world right now, they turned this motherfucker to a ghetto. That's because that's what they were known for. The Jews were so-called ostracized or whatever, the Seraphim. They was ostracized after the Moorish Empire fell. They were direct descendants of the Moors. After they fell, the Moors were ostracized back to Africa, where they would later on be ruled by the French. And the French reversed society because the Jews were originally the Moor slaves. And so when the Moors were kicked out of Africa, exiled after the Moorish Empire fell in 1491, after it fell, and they was ostracized back to Africa, and the French came along and seen what was going on in their society in Africa, in Morocco, as y'all call it, and they reversed the roles of society and put their white slaves on top of them, and they became known as the Adma, and the Lamu, the Adma and the Lamu. That's what they was called. So if you're having a hard time finding the Tani Moors, you want to look up Adma, ADMA, and the Lamu Moors. That's the name that they was changed to in French. So you should find them from this point on. So the Jews were an offshoot of the Blackamoors. You see what I'm saying? The Blackamoors. They were another tribe, right? So the original Seraphim, in a way. That's why they call Seraphim. They will go on to become. They would learn their lessons and get their religion originally from the Gnostics. See what I'm saying? When they got their lessons from the Gnostics, they rebelled against the Gnostics because they only cared about what some of the teachers that the Gnostics had, but they didn't care about the whole teaching. So they rebelled against them, took what they wanted, and then they fled. Yeah, they fled, but they would be persecuted all across Europe until, let's see, 1516, where they was pretty much ostracized from society in Italy. Then from that point on, from the 1500s on down, they would slowly but surely gain power until they would gain enough power to put a bid in for the cabal and become world bankers. That's why all the bankers are Jews. That's what you got going on here. So when this happened and they got the power, they never forgot what everybody did to them, and they did it to everybody else. Everything that happened to them, they made sure that everybody felt what they felt. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So they felt what they felt, and they got their asses, kicked. You see what I'm saying? They got their asses kicked. So, yeah, even the Holocaust, Hitler was trying to kill off the Jews because he knew that if they ever rose to power, they would fuck all of us up. Fast forward to modern day, we now see what he's talking about. They turned the whole world into a ghetto. A psychological thriller, a psychological mind-fucking thriller. You see what I'm saying? Mind ghetto, a mental prison. So yes, they definitely did this to all of us. You see what I'm saying? So that's why the world is the ghetto. You think that if you go to Africa, it's better in Africa than it is here. No, they still in the ghetto. And it's worse in Africa because they have their own land and they're living worse than us in a lot of areas. They have their city states as well, of course. But then a lot of them motherfuckers been compromised or been sold out unbeknownst to the people, to the French, British, and goddamn English. You see what I'm saying? They been sold out low key. That's why the South Africans figured out that shit and they rebelled against them in the 60s and 70s with Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela. You see what I'm saying? But they did their fuckery and they been altering the timelines with their CERN and everything. And they put that Nelson Mandela clone in there and he fucked over Africa. He fucked over all the South Africans. So that's what happened. Because when he came back to see Winnie, she knew it wasn't him. She knew it was a clone or something. That nigga, this ain't you. This ain't you. So this has been happening. Oh, let's not even start with South America. A lot of people ask me why South America is so far behind. Because they were enslaved. They were enslaved 100 years before us. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Now, they didn't come to America. They didn't come to North America officially. The English didn't come over here and fuck us up to 1607. They was fucking up the South Americans in the 1400s and 1500s. You see what I'm saying? So the South Americans and Mesoamericans, they was destroying their lands in the 14 and 1500s. They came over here. They occupied some land, but they were actually working. They were actually working with the Washita and everybody at that time until the English came over here and started fucking shit up. So yeah, in 1607. So yeah. So now you understand why the world has become a ghetto. You see what I'm saying? It's all history and mystery. Their story versus our story. You see what I'm saying? Their corrupt timelines that they imposed on us versus our will to fight through that shit and continue on with the cause with this magical revolution that we've been getting into. You see what I'm saying? This magical revolution. So now, let's continue. The worsening. Oh, I got one video. For y'all. It's called This Is America. I almost forgot. This is what's going on in America. And this is from a comedian by the name of Ryan Davis. Y'all ever heard of it? Check out what he got to say.
People for their issues. No living white person has owned a slave. Black people gotta stop blaming people for their issues and clean up their own communities. Slavery was a long time ago. Black people need to get over it. That's what continuously is told to me. Now, before I respond, I want to need you guys to share this video. I'm not going to curse. I'm not going to spread false information. Everything that I'm about to say is 100% true. You can look it up to see. And I'm not going to say anything that makes people cringe, at least language-wise. All right. Let's not dwell on the past. Let's go to modern history. Let's go 1964. 1964, right? That's 56 years ago. We all know somebody 56 years old, whether it's us, our parents, grandparents. So you would call that modern history, right? That was when the Civil Rights Act was passed, which made it illegal to discriminate against black people. So understand that if you know anybody over the age of 56, they lived in a time where legally you could discriminate against black people. Okay? But now that the Civil Rights Act was passed, we all know that once the government signs a bill or a law, everybody abides by it, correct? So that would explain why Martin Luther King Jr., who you love to bring up so much, Martin Luther King Jr. kept protesting and kept marching, and he himself ended up being killed in 1968. That's 52 years ago. Do y'all know somebody 52 years old? Probably. So, a lot of people bring up Martin Luther King. Y'all should be more like Martin Luther King. He would be ashamed. He would not like the things that y'all are doing. When Martin Luther King died, he had a negative approval rating. As a matter of fact, polls taken at the time said that more than 1/3 of people polled said that he brought his death upon himself. All this stuff you can look up. Moving forward, 1971, 49 years ago. You know, you guys in your 40s, this is you guys. Richard Nixon, the president, declared a war on drugs, which you can look up and research that his war on drugs basically just targeted hippies and black people. All right, you know, black people for like heroin and opioids, like the opioid crisis that we're currently in, that they're sending everybody to rehab and not putting anybody in prison. Yeah, empathy and things of that nature. Yeah, what's the case for black people in the 70s? Threw all of them in jail. And even if they weren't really doing it, throw them in jail too. Then hippies, people who are about peace, love, understanding, all lives matter. They were unfairly treated and arrested for using marijuana. Marijuana is the drug that while we're in a pandemic and 40 million Americans have lost their job, marijuana dispensaries are considered essential. That's right. Been open the whole time. The people who were smoking that and saying all lives matter, yeah, they were targeted. They were targeted too. And Richard Nixon's run ran until 1974. That doesn't mean these practices ended. That means that he officially left office in 1974. That was 46 years ago. We all know someone who's 46, but that's the 70s. Let's not dwell on the 70s. Let's move to the 80s. Let's say something like 1987. Know anybody born in 1987? If you don't, you're looking at one. 33 years old. 1987. The CIA flooded black communities with crack cocaine to pay for a war in Nicaragua. You can look this up. They've made documentaries about it. There's even a movie called Kill the Messenger that was made about it, starring Hawkeye. That's how soon it is. One of the Avengers played in the movie. All you have to do is look up the CIA and Contra. You'll find everything you need to know. You'll know that Hawkeye played a guy named Webb. What happened to Webb? Why can't you just look him up? Because he's dead. Unfortunately, he committed suicide by shooting himself in the back of the head 2 times. All right, so now we have crack flooded through the black communities all through the late 80s into the 90s. And black people are like, please help us. This is tearing apart our community. So then comes the crime bill. Did this crime bill stop bringing drugs into the community? No, it did not stop the flood of illegal weapons or guns into the community. It just put everybody in the community in prison. Did it offer drug rehabilitation for the whole community? No, it did not. It left the crackheads to raise the children. This is 1994. This is the 90s. Y'all remember the 90s? Sure. Because I'm pretty sure by now, if you're watching this video, you were probably alive in the 90s. And after this bill incarcerated more black people than ever before in the history of the U.S., businesses decided to get in business with prisons because you could get free labor. And I know some of y'all might go, you can't get free labor. That's slavery. Well, according to the 13th Amendment, that abolished slavery, slavery became illegal except, guess where? Prisons, which are disproportionately filled with what? Black people. Now prisons are big business, making over $100 million a year. So in order to keep this business up, prisons have a quota for how many people must be in it every year. Yes, you heard me right. There is a quota for how many people they have to have in the beds in prisons. How do you do that? By putting more people in prisons. Maybe for crimes they didn't commit. Maybe giving them longer sentences to keep people in beds so you can meet this quota, which black people have been complaining about. And you can do the research on to find that this is true. Mass incarceration is modern day slavery. Also, when you get out and you want to change your life, you can't, because people don't treat felons the same way, no matter what your felony is, and you're not allowed to vote. And since pretty much 1 in every 3 black men have been or will go to prison, we lose 33% of our voting power. And all of this is prevalent today, 2020. You remember 2020? Of course you remember 2020, because if you're watching this video, that means you lived in 2020. Now, with all this information I've given you, I haven't brought up police brutality. I haven't brought up racism from civilians. I haven't brought up racist practices by the banks. And I'm just giving you what the government did to black people. And some of y'all will go, I didn't know any of this. But I've given you statistics. And it's okay that you didn't know. It's not okay, but it's okay. Because most of us, statistically speaking, all of us, went to school with a girl who was abused in some type of way. But we didn't know. It doesn't mean it didn't happen to her. It just means we didn't know. But now that you know, ask yourself, what are you going to do about it to change it? Because it's true.
He is known by...
There y'all go. That's just America. We ain't even got to the rest of the world. Like I once told y'all, COINTELPRO never ended. They told y'all to end it, but it never ended, because when Reagan got in the office in the 80s, he reestablished the COINTELPRO program. And this time the COINTELPRO program went global. And they did what they did to the Black Panther Party and hippies and everybody over here. They did those same things to quell revolutions all across the world. Starting with Mexico and working their way on down to South America, to Africa. They went around the world and CIA assets fucking shit up. You can go look this up yourself. COINTELPRO program. The CIA COINTELPRO declassified in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, 2000s. And they still operational to this day. Every time they tell you something along the lines of, oh, they stopped. They didn't stop shit. They may operate up under a different name, but they still operation. You still have CIA assets in every so-called ghetto across the world, chiming into the CIA in fucking Virginia, doing one of the bases anyway. I think they still in Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. Doing their dirt, letting them know what's really going on in every community across the world. And if the CIA dubs you a liability to their cause, which is to continue their fucking imperialistic practices all across the world, the Fourth Reich, this is the rise of the Fifth Reich with Biden. We'll get to that. The Fourth Reich, during the Fourth Reich period and on now into the Fifth Reich, if you get in the way of their imperialistic practices and programs, they will wipe you out. If you don't believe me, go watch the movies Jason Bourne. Go watch all of them. Born Identity, Born Supremacy, Born Ultimatum, and then he made a fourth one a few years ago called Just Jason Bourne. Then he got the in-between one called Born Legacy. You know, so do know that these programs are real. And if you don't believe that they real, check this out. Now, even the high-class neighborhoods are starting to look like ghettos due to the degeneration of the matrix. What do I mean by that? That means that this shit is starting to fall apart. It's starting to break down. And now everybody is starting to understand firsthand in this demi-urgent world what it's like to be a melanated person, an indigenous person. Now everybody's starting to get a bird's eye view or an idea of what it's like to live in the ghetto, because now they see that they didn't just turn the ghettos into ghetto and ostracize us. Now the free people of the world starting to realize that we all living in one big prison, one big hell, one big ghetto together. The world is a ghetto. You see what I'm saying? The world is a ghetto. Check this out. Let's see here. 2021, the next 3 to 4 months are going to be worse than financial markets are braced for. Economists. Let's see what they got to say.
I want to talk though more about the state of the economy, GDP, and what this means as we go forward for a lot of investors. And we're going to do that with Wells Fargo senior economist Tim Quinlan, who joins us in the stream right now. Thank you for being here, Tim.
My pleasure.
So let me ask you this. As you point out, most economies globally will register sharp rates of contraction in 2020. But then when you start looking at different regions across the globe, there's not only the expectation for growth, but I think in your most recent note, you pointed out here in the United States, by the third quarter of 2021, we are back to recovery. I mean, we will have finished our recovery. We won't be where we were in 2019, but there's slowdowns in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way you think of it is, we're going through this god-awful period this winter, but then on the other side of it, what you've already had is a pretty swift rebound in goods spending, and then that's augmented by a broader recovery on the services side of spending. And so, you get faster rates of growth in the second half of last year. And in fact, we do have the headline level of GDP growth getting back to its pre-pandemic levels by the third quarter of next year.
And when you look at other regions, because some investors will be making their decisions with this kind of data in mind, China's GDP, I believe you're predicting, will grow about 9.6% next year. What is it about China, other than they are the largest market essentially in the world, that makes that's an optimistic number, is it not?
It is, and it's a little bit of kind of a coiled spring effect. I mean, China used to put up double-digit percentage growth rates on a pretty regular basis from the late 90s through until the early 20-teens or so, and then a kind of deliberate transition away from government-sponsored expansion of corporate debt there kind of resulted in them slowing to an engineered slowdown in the kind of mid-single-digit growth rates. And as they now kind of ramp back up coming out of this slowdown period, it's sort of lower base effects there that afford them that year of faster growth. I wouldn't drop my coffee if you actually had 10% GDP growth, but then it probably starts to taper back off into the mid to high single-digit growth rates after that.
Now let's look what's happening in the Eurozone. I mean, when you hear the Prime Minister of Greece being optimistic about the multi-trillion euro bailout that's going to be coming, and bailout's not the right word, but the stimulus package, their growth is expected to be 3.4% in 2021. Does that signal that the Eurozone?
Now, they talking about bailouts and everything, and they talking about growth, but don't let these motherfucking economists fool you. The world is degenerating at an accelerated rate. They can say and talk all this cute economic bullshit that they want to, but notice in between lines, niggas getting bailouts, niggas doing this. If you got to bail something out, then that means that the situation is dire. Peep game here. You got to read between the lines. Yeah, if you got to bail them out, they're in a bad situation. Because Europe right now in so bad of a situation that they on lockdown completely. I mean, complete lockdown. They so much on lockdown that them motherfuckers starting to turn to Venezuela. So they trying to save them now. So yeah.
Out of the woods, do you think?
Well, if you were the Greek finance minister, you'd be enthusiastic too. I mean, you remember the last cycle when, they had these long-term refinancing operations where it was, loans to the financial sector of these troubled Southern European economies with the expectation that it would all get paid back. And, there was no way that you'd get outright fiscal policy expansion and, what would have been deemed as a bailout of these profligate Southern European economies back then. So, the fact that you are seeing, not just, a low interest rate environment and expansionary, policy on a monetary policy side, but, an outright spend and fiscal policy support as well is certainly pretty supportive for growth there.
So when we wrap all of this up for an investor, you called COVID-19 a magnitude 9 quake. I'm now watching new shutdowns about to take place where I am in New York City. We're seeing that in California and major population centers of this country. It seems as if, the recovery...
What was that? Go back.
So when we wrap all of this up for an investor, you called COVID-19 a magnitude 9 quake. I'm now watching new shutdowns about to take place where I am in New York City. We're seeing that in California and
I'm now watching new shutdowns about to take place. So how the economy getting better if there's new shutdowns taking place? Y'all gotta read between the lines. These motherfuckers, see, they mixing the truth in there, but then they put it on they lay the truth in a pile of lies and bullshit. So how the economy getting better if y'all about to go into a new shutdown phase? Different states going into new shutdown phases. Huh? How is that possible? See what I'm saying? Fucking Europe need a stimulus package. China dealing with their own shit. China, they got rocked by tsunamis and shit recently. So a portion of their land is on the seas right now. You see what I'm saying? They got rocked recently. So they ain't doing too well either. So let's continue.
Major population centers of this country. It seems as if, the recovery that we're counting on for third quarter might get delayed because that would mean more people out of...
It seems as if the recovery that we count on might be delayed. They telling you what it is. And most important, keyword counting on. They didn't say that it's going to happen. They are hoping that it happens. You see what I'm saying? They hoping that it happens. See, Pete Gang here about what they saying. Let's continue.
Wouldn't it?
I think if I can leave you with a lasting impression here, is that the next 3 to 4 months are going to be worse than financial markets are braced for at the moment. But then beyond that...
Why did it take 4 minutes for them to say that? The title of the video is 3 to 4 months before they fucked this shit up. So they spent the first 2 minutes really in with some niceties, and now they finally tell you the fucking truth. Oh, it's about to be fucked up around here for a little while. We gonna say it's for a little while, but nah, what's really happening is it's gonna be fucked up for real. America about to turn into a true ghetto around here. Actually, America already a ghetto, but you really about to see some things. We gonna get into that for the rest of the lecture, but we're gonna let them finish up here. Let me see here. We're gonna let them wrap this up.
Especially if you get to a point where you've got adequate distribution of this vaccine, across not just the advanced economies, but the emerging market economies as well, then you'll see something that we've never had before, which is, in an ordinary period, you have pent-up demand manifest itself through goods spending. In most advanced economies, goods spending market economies as well.
Hold on, that caught my attention. No restrictions, advisory, order, or curfew. So Ohio and California are up under curfew in this particular map. And them red spots y'all see, curfews. The light blue spot is they up under advisory. That's New Mexico, Wisconsin, Kentucky, Massachusetts, and look like New Hampshire, right? So they up under advisory, meaning nigga be careful. That's basically what that means. We watching. Y'all might have to shut down soon too. And then finally, you got the blue states, which is so-called no restrictions. So they say, but we're going to get into what's really going on after this.
Then you'll see something that we've never had before, which is, in an ordinary period, you have pent-up demand manifest itself through goods spending. In most advanced economies, goods spending is small relative to the much larger services side of the economy. You had suppressed services spending in this cycle. We've never seen that before. So that, as that kind of comes back online, we're looking for that to drive growth in a more impactful way. So whereas in the near term, I don't think people are pessimistic enough, in the second half of next year, I don't think they're optimistic enough yet at this point.
All right, so let's wrap this up with one last question. We don't expect the Federal Reserve to increase interest rates at all. I've had guests come on here starting to talk about inflation.
The Federal Reserve closed. So, we don't expect the Reserve. What he really just said was we don't expect the Federal Reserve to do a goddamn thing because they closed. According to our knowledge, right? Them niggas closed. So how they gonna do anything? They ain't gonna raise or lower nothing. If the door's shut, you see what I'm saying? If it's on lockdown. So these promissory notes and everything shutting down. But we gonna get to that.
Inflation. As an economist, are you worried about inflation? Because when I used to cover the Fed, for 10 years they've never gotten inflation, right? It hasn't existed. What do you think?
Well, I think that when you look at the expansion of not just the monetary base, but also M2, so it wasn't uncommon before to have a big expansion of the high-powered money. In this case, you had a big expansion of regular cash money as well, and there's maybe scope for a bit of inflation, which is why the Fed has tried to steer expectations toward this new inflation level targeting. But as General Putnam said to the troops before the first battle at Lexington and Concord, don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes. I think I'll wait until I see the whites of inflation's eyes north of 2% before I start really dialing it into our forecast.
In other words, they're gonna wait till it's too late to tell you anything. That's basically what they said. They're gonna wait till the last minute. Instead of getting their people, so-called American people, prepared for this fall, this collapse that's about to happen, this global collapse, economic collapse that's about to happen, they telling everybody like, no, everything will be all right, everything will be cool until the last minute when we actually tell you the truth. Yep. This is what you got to deal with. This is what you're dealing with here. So now, this is what's really going on. Soon the United States corporation will be broken up into factions like they show you on these military maps. Yep. Trump, word on the street is Trump just opened up his office in Florida. The Confederate Republic of America. You see what I'm saying? The new Republic of America, but it's really the Confederate Republic of America. Texas and a few other states are ready to secede. I know Texas and California are ready to secede from the Union. So they breaking the country up. It's gonna be a four-way. It's gonna appear to be a three-way breakup, but it's a four-way party. It's a four-way war. So you got the black hats, the cabal, and the white hats, QAnon. They about to break America up. They about to break America up. So half the country will be part of the cabal, and the other half will be part of the Republic of America, which is the Christian Gnostics. Neither one is better. Trump's realm may be a little bit better because it's just the same old bullshit you've been dealing with this whole time. Whereas the cabal is a corporation that's been keeping us enslaved since 1871. See what I'm saying? So they're seceding. So there's a lot of states that's getting ready to secede, and more will follow. More will follow, especially if you look at what Biden been doing lately. Biden has been changing laws for black people already. He's already put in executive orders to shut down everything Trump did for black people. Yeah, or melanated people. So in other words, he's already taking your rights away. He's already taking your rights away. So, yeah. Next thing he did, he set up shop for transgenderism and all that, but really what he set up shop for was transhumanism. Homo evolutus. Putting you back on the path to become a fucking cyborg. Part man, part machine. See what I'm saying? Got you walking around this bitch like a transformer or something, or half robot, you know? iRobot around this bitch. That's what they want you to become, an iRobot. Or O-robot, or organic robot. See what I'm saying? So this is what's happening here in our world. So you about to see this get broken up. So some will belong to the black cats, the cabal, some will belong to the red hats, the dirty Moors. Let's not forget the dirty Moors. Remember, it's a four-way system in this world. You have the red hats, which are the Moors, and the Moors are also the Saturnians. It's an ET group, who are a rogue sect, also, who gave the Moors this separatist document in the first place. The Berbers, the original Berbers who left North Africa and went to Southern Europe and conquered it. Now, they always say they went and conquered somebody, but they never tell you who the fuck they conquered. Now, do they? They went and conquered the Grimaldi, who were the natural inhabitants of Europe. You see what I'm saying? So, they never tell you who the fuck these niggas went to go conquer. Like, they didn't say they went and colonized it or went and set up shop. They said they conquered Europe. So who the fuck they conquered? I were no white people here at the time. So who was they killing? Who did they take out? They took out the indigenous Grimaldi nations that was there. You see what I'm saying? So which were the Aurignacians, and then they reestablished themselves into a different empire after that. But originally they were known as the Grimaldi. So they went over there and conquered them first, and enslaved them first, and had them do their labor. Then that's when they got the white people and enslaved them, and you know turned them out, you know, and taught them and shit like that, and built their empire for the next 700 years. All right. So where did they get this separatist document from? They were channeling the Saturnians. We now have intel that they were channeling the Saturnians. Saturnians who are living on the moon, the moons of Saturn. You know, the moon of Saturn. Titan is the moon of Saturn. They have a few sky colonies on Saturn as well, but mainly they operate off the moon of Saturn, Titan. And they were literally tapping in, and they gave these group of beings this doctrine, as long as you follow their way, which was a rebellious way against the natural order of the world, and you go and you set up shop, set up this magistrate, and we're going to help you create a global magistrate. Right? That's what they about. A futuristic magistrate. The Alta Carbon storyline. If you ain't seen Alta Carbon, go check it out. The magistrate part of that story is literally the whole Alta Carbon storyline is the story of the Moors. That's their future. That's the future that they want to bring about. The envoys were the indigenous Moors who fought against them. You see what I'm saying? You know, envoy intuition. These things, they seem to be scared of these mystical abilities of this particular group of beings. So they hunted them down and killed them. So they was last of the Murs, or the Muyans, or the Muurians. You see what I'm saying? So now, this is where it gets good. These group of beings have set up shop, and they have their own order. Because the Moors are actually running all these motherfuckers. Low key. Because they started all this shit, right? The red hats. So don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them red hats. All people ain't your people, right? All skin folk ain't kin folk, right? There's a reason why we say that. It's a lot of these mofos and these red hats, these fezzes, that ain't for you. This Moroccan order of the Moorish Empire is not for you. You see what I'm saying? It's not for you. The real Moors, so-called, that they exiled back into Africa, are enslaved right now. So who are these beings perpetrating as the caliphate? You see what I'm saying? Over there in Morocco. These Caliphatian beings are actually part of the Jesuit order, and they are assisting in keeping this world locked down. You see what I'm saying? So over here, that manifested to Jesuit Moors. Like I told y'all, if you wearing a fucking red hat right now, you wearing the feds right now, you fucked up, because Noble Drew Ali's version of the Moorish Science Temple of America was abolished in 1940, and it was reestablished by Jesuit Moors, and the Moorish Science Temple of America today is literally operating up under the Jesuit Moorish system. That's why when you become a Moor, they don't bother you. Peep game. Let's look at what they did with Empress Verdiasi. Empress Verdiasi set up shop, brought back the original Moorish Empire, the Washita, because her bloodline was unbroken. You see what I'm saying? It was unbroken. And she still had all the documentation and legal matters that of her people, right? Of her people. And so when she brought back the Washita Moorish Empire, she also went over to the United Nations and reestablished us as the oldest tribe in the world. The United Nations gave her that title, the oldest tribe in the world. Now, when she started doing nationality for the Moors, that's when the U.S. government, the FBI, these covert contractors came to see her. Yep, and they tried their best to shut it down. And they've been demonizing the Washita Moorish Empire ever since. Now, the question you should be asking yourself is, why they allowing the Moors to operate over here, but they're not allowing the Moors to operate and it's their land? Why they attacking one group and not attacking the other? It's because the Moors are the ones who started all this shit, and they honor the Moors because they financed this whole paradigm, especially over here. During the Articles of Confederation, the Black Moorish presidents of that particular group actually took $25 million in gold, somewhere in there. You know, I'm a little rusty on my Moorish history, but it was like $20-something million in pure gold bars that they gave to the Republic of America, or the 13 colonies at the time, and they used that gold to finance the Republic of America. And that's when they established themselves as the Republic of America, and not just the 13 colonies. You see what I'm saying? When they got that money, they had, and from that point on, from 1770, and that's when they declared their independence from Britain. And from 1776 to 1871, they were a free operating foreign government. You see what I'm saying? Independent foreign government. Until 1871, when the Cabal came back in during the Act of 1871 and usurped them again. You see what I'm saying? And took them back over. So yeah. You live in a world ghetto. So know what's going on here. Know what's going on. So since then, you gotta ask yourself, why the Moors, the Moors catch so much hell? Because they know that Empress Verdiasi's system, Moorish Empire, the Washita Nation, and everybody is an unbroken, true connection to the original indigenous Mu Empire that existed previously before these motherfuckers came over here. It has automatic connections to the Khalifians, to the Yamasee, to the Muskogee, to the Iroquois, to the Lenape, and there's a few other groups I can't think of off the top of my head, but y'all see where I'm coming from. The original indigenous melanated order of beings, and they cannot deny it because it is already filed in the United Nations, and they can't do nothing about it. So the U.S. government is around here telling motherfuckers that the U.S. government is around here telling people that the Washita Nation is a fictitious organization, but yet they could never arrest Empress Verdiasi. Why? Because she was already approved and sanctioned by the United Nations to get her land back and rebuild her Washita Empire in peace. But the U.S. government, the U.S. archons, United States corporations, didn't have that. So they started going in over from around 2000 up until the time she died in 2014. They would launch a series of raids on her land, which was illegal, and they would continue to come in and take the murderous information, because people were buying into the nation. See what I'm saying? The Washington Empire, as they should have. They were buying in, and so the U.S. government was literally coming in into her house on her land illegally and taking all of the nationality, all the permits to become international beings, because the U.S. government couldn't stop it. They could take the information, even though it was illegal for them to take it, but they couldn't lock her up because she had every right to do it. But since they didn't have control over it, then that's when they shut this shit down. You see what I'm saying? Since they didn't have control over it, since they weren't part of the Order of Archons, they was originally part of the Order of the Star Walkers, the Moo Walkers, then Unbroken Bloodline, then they seen it as a threat. And so they did everything to suppress, oppress, and demonize and defame the Washita Nation, and yet they still prevail. Go check out Alim El Bey. Go check out the Empress Yaya. They still operational in Louisiana to this day. You see what I'm saying? They still operational today. Even went so far as to send a Washita assassin, and there was a killer not too long ago who they had him claim he was around here killing motherfuckers. They had him claim that he was from the Washita Nation. Oh, you know, they ate that shit alive. But he was actually a CIA agent working for the government to suppress and demonize further the Washita Nation. Now, a homegirl of mine, Facebook friend of mine, not too long ago asked me for some information on him, because, you know, she was like, Mom, I can't find no information on the Washita. I was like, oh yeah, let me go check it out for you. You know, send me some information, because she was asking me information on Moo, right? So I went to go look it up, and when I typed in the Washita Nation, it was so fucking hard to find the articles that it was easy to find for me when I did the original lectures. See, I put that information out there so people start asking questions again. So they doubled down on their efforts to demonize the Washita Empire. You see what I'm saying? They doubled down on their efforts. It's nothing but articles that's demonizing and persecuting the Washita Nation. Why they working so hard to demonize and persecute the Washita Nation? Because it is an unbroken bloodline. It is an unbroken bloodline that connects all the way back to the Mu Empire. More importantly, the Washita are the only motherfuckers to ever beat the U.S. government or the U.S. corporation legal system. They won their case as sovereign beings on the land in the 1800s. You see what I'm saying? They won their case. Juneteenth is more than what y'all think it is. Juneteenth is the day actually the Washita won their case, and it's the day that and Juneteenth is when they freed the slave or emancipated the slave. But originally Juneteenth was before they freed the slaves. It was actually the holiday. It was actually the day that the Washita Nation beat the American government in their legal system. So this is what you got going on here. So this is the green hats, the rainbow green hats here. And so you know, we keep being reincarnated down here until we resolve this issue of freeing ourselves and the planet and rising. And we said we told them we would come back during this time period to finish this shit once and for all. Finish this program once and for all. Now you're seeing the fruits of not only your labor in this life, but the labor of our ancestors as we continue to break this shit down and do away with it completely. Of course, the other three orders, the red, black, and white hats, don't appreciate it. And you about to see why. You about to see why. So now, the CDC. Let's get back to that. Let's get back to the CDC. Let's see here. Let's see.
This is Dabu 7, taking a look here at the latest announcement coming from the CDC. They are stating that all travelers must wear 2 layers of a mask here. I'm going to try to explain this as they're putting this because they rule out several things that people have been wearing, and they say that that's not going to work no more. You're going to have to change it up. And in this order that they put out late Friday, they say that they will require people to wear a face mask while using any form of public transportation. That includes buses, trains, taxis, airplanes, boats, subways, ride-share vehicles, all within the United States. This order goes into effect at 11:59 p.m. Monday, or today, and they say that the mask must be worn while waiting, boarding, traveling, and disembarking. The coverings need to be at least 2 or more layers of breathable fabric secured to the head with ties, ear loops, or elastic bands. Scarves and bandanas do not count, the order says. Well. The CDC says that it reserves the right to enforce the order through criminal penalties. But it strongly encourages and anticipates the widespread voluntary compliance of this. So it goes on to finish it saying that it expects the support from other federal agencies to implement the order. So the feds. Comprende? I'm going to break this down further on what this all means on the live show where I can talk freely about all of it. So join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern on D-Live. Links below.
So, y'all tell me, since when has the CDC, a corporate health organization, had the power to issue out laws and force everybody to comply with them? Since when did they have this ability? A private health organization has gained the ability mysteriously and magically to tell you what to fucking wear, and you gonna obey them, or else you won't get to your job. You won't be able to board public transportation. They even attacking motherfuckers low key. They got some shit going on with government assistance as well. So, y'all tell me when the CDC gained this kind of power. You know, when they just say that shit whenever the fuck they feel it. Like, what gave them the right, a health organization, the right to say that that you gotta wear 2 masks now? You know, you gotta wear 2 masks now. That 1 mask shit over with. We enforce it 2 masks. How does a World Health Organization enforce you to do anything? They're a health organization. They're not a legal entity. Since when did they have this kind of power? You see what I'm saying? Ask yourself that. You know, what's going on here? Ever since Biden got in office, shit been a little fucked up, hasn't it? Yeah. Nah. There's also a rise in bed bugs all across the world. It's been a bed bug epidemic. They are attacking our ability to dream, and it's an insectoid attack. Yes. All of a sudden, people got bed bugs for no fucking reason. What's going on here? It's a bed bug epidemic all across the world. Where all these fucking bed bugs coming from? It is a biological warfare attack from the insectoid ET race. Biden is an insectoid. Trump is an Arcturian. And we already know Moors work for the Saturnians. And we ourselves, we work for the Anunnaki. Right? So it's 4 different organizations doing 4 different things. We deal with the Nibirians and the Anunnaki, the green hats, the Mu Urs. Yeah, so we're gonna take it to the ET level now. I talked to y'all in my school's out lecture. We talked about it on a political level. Then Soul Edge, we dealt with your own personal power, your own metaphysical power, and how you're gonna survive this. Now we're talking about the ETs. You see what I'm saying? The UFOlogy. There are 4 major groups right now at war with each other. You got Trump, the Arcturians, and the Arcturians. They war with the Cabal, who are insectoids and reptilians and archons. See what I'm saying? Archons. Then you have the Moors. The Moors are working with the Saturnians, right? The Saturnians. And these Saturnians have been the ones that's been guiding them all along. And there's probably a few other rogue factions as well. And y'all know the Saturnians in Cuz Ring of Saturn book are tall black ETs, right? They were all black, they all melanated. So they are a rogue sect of the Anunnaki Empire. The Anunnaki calls them anarchy in their texts. Well, this shit is real. All this shit is real. Halal, Iblis, all this shit is real, but it's coded. The Saturnians are one of those rogue sects that they were talking about. They're one of those rebellious groups. They rebelled against them. So they've been feeding the Moors, and they Saturnians specialize in building magistrates. What are magistrates? Magistrates are literal magical government facilities, to keep it simple. If you watch the TV show Altered Carbon, they had advanced nanotechnology, advanced weaponry. They were a military, magical police state for the most part. You see what I'm saying? You still see elements of it now, but yes, that's what they were about. They were magisters. They about throwing around their weight, authority. It's pure intellectualism, authoritative regime. You see what I'm saying? So that's what these Moors were doing. And that's why when you look into their storylines of the Moors, you see something missing. You know, everybody who studied the Moors always feel like something missing, and it is something missing. What is the occult knowledge and spiritual knowledge of your ancestors? Ain't none. Because they don't fuck with our ancestors. You see what I'm saying? They are a rebel group of beings who do not fuck with our ancestors. Their ET groups that they get information from. If you're Moor, you are aligned with the rebel Anunnaki groups. One of the groups are known as the Saturnians, and there are others. Can't think of them off the top of my head, but Saturnians, I talk about the Saturnians because they are actually in our particular solar system, and they're not fucking far away from us, and they can roll up in this bitch whenever they feel like it. So they are a rebel group of Anunnaki who have turned their back on the ways of our ancestors and have chosen to do their own thing, and if you're part of the Moorish, Moorish empire, you are adhering to their separatist laws. You see what I'm saying? They're rogue squadron. You see what I'm saying? They're rogue empire. There is a rogue empire the Saturnian Empire is a rogue fucking empire. See what I'm saying? They're a multitude of beings, just like the Anunnaki Empire, but they are rogue sect who rebelled against the Anunnaki Empire. That's what the war was about. About Tarnash and everybody in Nuwabu, in the Nuwabu sciences. Well, the Tarnash and everybody is talking about the Moors. You see what I'm saying? They always said that they were disagreeable beings, and they vibrated on the root chakra. See what I'm saying? On the ET level. So that's what these Saturnians are. They are those beings. They have already been proven to be real. Cuz Ring of Saturn book and his he got an interview. Type in the Ring of Saturn interview where he tell you that the motherfuckers was tall black niggas, but these niggas ain't got nothing to do with us. Ask yourselves, where these niggas been all this time? Why they ain't helping us get free? It's because they are the ones who put this shit in motion. This great betrayal, this great deception in motion. And they had other help from rogue Pleiadians and Syrians and Orions, and it's one big rogue empire. You see what I'm saying? It's a multitude of ETs from different star systems, and they chose to rebel against the original Anunnaki ways. But they are Anunnaki themselves, but they rebel Anunnaki known as the Anarchy. ANAQI or ANAKI, however you like to say it. It's up to you. You see what I'm saying? The Anarchy, according to the text. So now, you got the red hats, then you got the black hats, who are insectilians, reptilians, and archons. Mainly. You know, so now they put an insectilian in office, now all of a sudden it's a bug outbreak. A bed bug outbreak, right? Now, so this great separation is going down, this split, this divide, there's a four-way divide going on. So the insectoids, the reptilians, and the Archons have a pact, you know, whether it's the Draco Federation, the Insectilian Federation, and the Archon, but they all up under the Archonic Republic. I already told y'all about that. The Archonic Republic. So the Archonic Republic is doing what? They are literally working against us. You see what I'm saying? They literally working against us. So you got to understand who you dealing with. And then finally you got the white hats, who are the Arcturians, the blue avians, damn, I can't even think of all of them now here. I'm a little rusty on my ET UFOlogy here. But I know it's Arcturians, blue avians, some positive Pleiadians. There's a few of them that's helping them as well. The original Syrian Empire, the original Orion Empire, and the Procyon and everybody else are part of the Arcturian side of the equation. They are assisting with the QAnon. That's why when you look at all those pictures, you're seeing mostly them. You see what I'm saying? You don't see the Anunnaki in their sect. The reason why, because the white hats are a whole other organization separate from the Anunnaki. You see what I'm saying? See, the Anunnaki have their own beings. Nibirians have their own beings. It's a multitude of beings on planet Nibiru. They work with their faction, their organization, but the Anunnaki is the most powerful motherfuckers in existence right now in this universe. So yeah, you got a lot of shit going on here. So it's a four-way war. The Arcturians for the white hats, the Arcturians, the blue avians, the Casappians, I just told y'all, they come and go. You know how I go, and various other groups. Then, like I said, you got the black hats, Archons, Insectilians, Reptilians. Another group, the Beetlejuice. A lot of them motherfuckers have sided with the black hats. So they're a rogue group as well. Now, where the black hats come from? They are a rogue sect of the Moors. You see what I'm saying? They are a rogue sect of the Moors. Once upon a time, the Moors, the red hats and the black hats had a pact with each other, but they broke that shit when around the late 1800s. They broke it, and they decided to do their own thing. That's why the Moors is pissed off at them. You see what I'm saying? That's why the Moors and the Saturnians is pissed off at them, because they chose to rebel against their doctrine. You see what I'm saying? So they're a rebel group as well. They're a rebel alliance to the Moors. You know, the Christian Gnostics, the Arcturians, they were also another rebellious group of the Moors, but they chose to be the Christian Gnostics. You see what I'm saying? The Knight Templars, a rogue sect, the Rogue Templars. And so, since they doing their own thing, that's why they all about being a knight. With the Cabal all about being dark occultists. You know, they only fuck with the archonic energies, the archonic magics. And then you got the Moors themselves. They all about law. They all about legality. Why? Because they created these magistrates, the legalese of magical spell that they still use in their systems. You know, to keep order and keep enslaving motherfuckers. That's what a magistrate is. It's pure legal magic. You see what I'm saying? It's magical law. So you need to know what you're dealing with down here. And then finally us, the Mulians, the Anunnaki, various other groups who have our backs, a lot of original order, Atlanteans, we are the Mulians, we are the Atlanteans too, but of course, now the story has been construed. Not everybody died. Everybody got y'all thinking that everybody died. This is bullshit. Nah, not everybody died in these storylines that they've been telling us. A lot of motherfuckers have lived and are doing their own thing around here. You see what I'm saying? They doing their own thing. Perfect example. They told y'all the Mayans died. The Mayans are time travelers. Nah, the Mayans up and kicking. They out there in space right now. The Olmecs still living. The Khalifians still living. The ancient Cometians still living. The Nubians still living. Of course, y'all know the ancient Sumerians, that's the Anunnaki, they still living. The ancient Asians, the original Asians, the Yuache and everybody, who are master martial artists. You see what I'm saying? That shit they showing you now, that's basic shit compared to what them Asians was fucking doing back in the day. You see what I'm saying? The Asuians. You see what I'm saying? The Asuians. They were some masters. They were masters at their art. They was not fucking around back then. It wasn't until some punk ass general who I'm gonna get into later. I'm getting into their mythology later. They ain't gonna go on. But it was some punk ass ruler who came along and wiped out. He was so jealous of the ancient works of the ancient so-called Asians that he burned all their history and works and had history stole him. So just to let you know how fucked up they are. You see what I'm saying? Just to let you know how fucked up they are. So that's why y'all don't find much history on the original Asians, because this nigga burned all the texts and had history just stole with him. So now, this is why the world is a ghetto now. Y'all gotta understand why the world is a ghetto. So it's a rising bed bugs. Then you know you notice ever since Biden got in office, the Archon and your family members and goddamn friends have reactivated. They've been acting a stone ducky because they're channeling the black hat energy. But when the Christian Gnostics was in power with Trump, the Arturians, that shit didn't exist no more. It died out. Why? Because the Arturians have nothing to do with what the fuck these niggas doing. They warring on the ground, right? They all warring on the ground. Everybody warring on the ground right now, you know. And there's a war for Augusta, Shambhala, and various other interdimensional magical cities down there. It's a lot going on in the inner earths. There's a lot of inner earth wars going on that I told y'all before. And the Anunnaki, who are the inner earth version of the Anunnaki Empire. The Anunnaki. You know, they say in the Bible that the tribe of Dan went off and did their own shit, right? The tribe of Dan is actually the Anunnaki. D-A-N-A-K-I, the Anunnaki. So they are the inner earth version of the Anunnaki Empire, and the Anunnaki who Dr. York and everybody call the Danaki or the Danaki. Hope I'm saying that right. They are down there warring with these motherfuckers as we speak. See what I'm saying? It's a four-way war going on between the Anunnaki Empire, the Saturnian Rogue Empire, the Arcturians Empire, and whatever they got going on, and the Cabal. The Cabal, who are which is the Archonic Republic. You see what I'm saying? So it's a four-way war going on. And it's slowly but surely starting to affect our physical plane. Soon the war completely spill over to our physical plane. So you need to know who your side is. You need to know what set you represent. You need to know who your soul tribe is. Because one day all the tribes going to come together as one single entity to deal with this. You see what I'm saying? To deal with this during the Great Infinity War. So know your peoples. Get to know them now. Stop all the arguing and bickering about which doctrine is right and which doctrine is wrong. The real truth is some of them have truths in them, some of them have lies in them. Because a lot of this shit has been compromised. The true teaching is in your soul, and these documents you use as reminders, as soul reminders, and you throw away what you need and you keep what you want. You keep what's useful. You throw away what you don't need and you keep what's useful. You see what I'm saying? That's how you do this. That's how you do this. So now, they are getting ready to release COVID-23. They are going to create a society of mass quarantine zombies that have taken the vaccine. P gang here. They got a movie out called COVID-23. Songbird. Go watch them. Hunger Games. The list goes on. Ender's Game. Don't forget Ender's Game. Yeah, the list goes on of all these movies. These movies been telling you what they about to do. So they about to release COVID-23. That's why they trying to get you. That's why they upgrading these laws about the mask. They getting ready to unleash COVID-23. And soon they gonna have us walking around this bitch with gas masks. I'm not doing that shit. Y'all niggas is crazy. Gas mask, nigga. And it ain't that wrong with the air. How is this an airborne disease and nature still living? Last time I checked, airborne diseases kill anything it touches. Be it animal, plant, so-called human, which is earthlings, animal, plant, earthling, and or otherwise, if it was an airborne disease or infection, right? Nature fine. The animal's fine. shit, plants fine. The lakes and water fine. So, yeah, it's all a lie. It's a pandemic, as we said. So the madhouse continues. Now, let's see here. I talked about transhumanism. Transhumanism, Homo evolutus is on the rise, aka she-males and transgenders and robots and cyborgs and robocops and drones and droids and shit. Me and my lady friend, we was out at the lake not too long ago, and we came to the realization that those are not people flying those planes. Those are drones. Those are drones. Yes, those are drones, and they are not spraying those chemtrails on the physical plane. They spread them through the astral plane, and they're manifesting on the physical plane. How about that? Yep. Because when we walked out that portal, we realized when they was spraying them on the astral plane, but we came back to the physical, which is in the past. Remember, the astral plane is in the future, so they were spraying them on the astral plane, but in the physical, it had already been sprayed. How about that? The days of future past around here. Peak game. So peak game. So all this fuck shit that's going on is losing. It is going down. Like I said, Trump has set up office in Florida, the Confederate Republic of America. Peak game. Let's see. The Union's destruction is at hand. Like I said, Texas and other states are seceding from the Union. Let's see here. Oh, how we know it's a prison planet? Well, it's to this prison planet breakdown. Your home is your prison cell, and your apartment is your prison cell. Literally, it has an address number. Your car is the prison card that gets you from place to place within the prison. All right. Your jobs are plantations. You and your children are human capital, human resources, until you wake up and become their liability. So you their capital. You are asset until you wake up, become conscious of who you are. Then you become their liability. See what I'm saying? So you human capital as long as you sleep. Straw man. See the morals. That's why you don't fuck with the morals. A straw man, they showed you in the Wiz. The straw man is a man without consciousness, or a woman without consciousness, or a child without consciousness. You see what I'm saying? The Tin Man is a soulless being. The lion, the bitch nigga, the bitch, the wimp, the wuss, the pansy is a fucking being without courage or will. They basically told you the three major beings that they trying to create. And Dorothy had to save them all. That's you, the star seed. But she had to, actually she didn't save shit. She clicked her here 3 times and got the fuck up out of there. Now that I think about it, she got the fuck up out of there. She clicked her here 3 times and got the fuck on. You see what I'm saying? So as she found out what was really going on the astral plane, she got the fuck on. She ain't saying shit now that I think about it. She got the hell on. Wait a minute now. We can't win. We can't be given. So, and you can't, and so this is what's happened here. You on the prison plane. Let's continue here. So the straw man is a human without consciousness. The Tin Man is a human without a soul. Is a body without a soul. And the lion is just a bitch nigga. You got plenty of them walking around. No courage, no will, won't dare say nothing or speak against the system. And it ain't just the gangbangers, all these punk ass gangsters, these punk ass drug dealers and dope dealers. It's niggas in positions of power. See their people suffering, see the world suffering, but turn a blind eye to it so they can enjoy their lifestyle. So, in the words of Anansi, you can live your best fucking life at the peril of others. You see what I'm saying? At the sacrifice of others. So now, let's see here. Every system outside of yourself, including the moral system that is not of the original Moorish Muyan Empire, is a slave system. Social Security /EIN number, barcodes, neighbors and friends, inmates, government systems, wardens, police officers, correctional officers. Outside is the yard. Society is the prison. Marriage, a legal binding curse. Divorce, legal binding freedom from the curse. Money, a digital slave currency. Cursed slave currency. My bad. I'm fucking up a little bit. It's a digital cursed slave currency. You see what I'm saying? So this is a rundown of the matrix you in. This one here is a dossier. So if y'all want to know what kind of lecture this is, it's more of a dossier. Just giving you a rundown of what the fuck is really going on around here. And then we gonna go in on how to stage a prison/asylum break in a second. Next, the reptilian matrix. You know, that's the ET side of things. This society has been run by reptilians and insectians, archons, werewolves, ghouls, goblins, droids, drones, cyborgs, robocops, walk-in clones, etc. This is Attack of the Clones. This is iRobot. This is ghouls and goblins. Yes, ghouls and goblins are fucking real. Don't get it twisted. Listen to your rap music if you don't believe ghouls and goblins don't fucking exist. They literally like goblins, or they goddamn the music so soulless we call it ghoul rap. That's what we call it around my way, ghoul rap. So and the music so soulless, so dead that it's just like a ghoul. What is a ghoul? Or no, well, zombie. is a zombie who can speak. You see what I'm saying? And talk and walk properly. You know, just an upgraded zombie. You know, he's not as feral as the actual zombie, but he can talk and walk and speak for his masters just enough to get the agenda across. That's what a ghoul is, if y'all want to know. What is a goblin? Goblins are these mischievous motherfucking creatures that walk around the underworld fucking shit up. You see what I'm saying? That's what they do. If you don't believe me, go research the mythology of goblins and ghouls. You know, these mythologies are these mythologies are real. Werewolves, real. Werewolves. What's a werewolf? A motherfucker who's steeped in his lower passions. You see that shit all the time. Motherfuckers who just want to fuck all day. You know, all they want to do is fuck. You see what I'm saying? They don't give a fuck about their consciousness. They don't give a fuck about tapping in. All they want to do is fuck, and fuck. And if you ain't fucking, if they ain't fucking, they unhappy. And if they unhappy, they gonna make whoever else in their environment unhappy. Werewolves. You see what I'm saying? The only thing that can kill them is a silver bullet. That's consciousness. The silver bullet is consciousness, awareness. You see what I'm saying? Silver is a high vibrating metal. So that's consciousness, right? So yeah. Let's continue here. So yeah, we already talked. Y'all know archons is spiritual jailers, the mentors, celestial vampires, demiurge. We talk about that all the time. Y'all know that is insectilians. Y'all is plethora information on insectilians and reptilians as well. Them gray drakes, my niggas. Them gray drakes. Y'all know who they are. Y'all know they in. A walk-in is a being who, say for example, if you a clone or something, they could be any astral force or astral thought form who can possess an empty vessel. That's what a walk-in is. You see what I'm saying? You also got handlers as well. Handlers is just a cool way of saying the motherfuckers who control this shit. You know, the ETs who control this particular paradigm right now. You know, you got them as well. But walk-ins are motherfuckers who possess. You look at them as Agent Smiths. They are everyone and they are no one. They can walk in and out of any being still hardwired to their astral matrix. You see what I'm saying? To their astral matrix. So this is what you're dealing with here. So now, let's see here. Check this out. The cosmic, so-called celestial lockdown mechanism. Check this out. The sun is an artificial light simulator that eats away at your skin if you are not conscious. Remember, you know how it actually burns your skin if you're not conscious, because it's a fake artificial light simulator. The real sun is behind it. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't exist. So it's a fake sun simulator in place of the real sun that you can't even see. So, and it's literally designed to eat away and burn your skin if you are not conscious. The rays of light cannot affect you once you become conscious. Remember, before you became conscious, the sun actually burned you. Why? Because your melanin was impure, and your melanin still vibrated on a frequency of this arcana matrix, which was extra low ELF frequencies. Once you awoke and you went through a chaos period to purge those toxic ELF frequencies out of your melanin so you could become awakened conscious. You know, that's part of the process. That's why everything fall apart. That's the alchemical mortification process. You get that you get your melanin purified, cleaned up. Now you are free to be the holistic conscious being you've always meant to be. So yes. So the sun is an artificial light simulator that eats away at your skin if you're not conscious. The moon is a soul recycler / reaper of those who are not conscious. You heard that on multiple occasions. What you're not hearing is the stars in the firmament are a computer generated spell that keeps the firmament intact and going. That's what you're not hearing. You know those specific points and sigils you see in the fucking sky? You know, the Milky Way and all that shit? Those are actually sigils that keep the firmament running. You see what I'm saying? The energy is coming from the moon. It's the soul energy that they steal. They siphon off from souls who die once they enter the great beyond, which is the astral light. Like they showed you in the movie Soul. The astral light. And your ass get dragged right back down here all over again. So, this is where it gets good. The astral light, once you come back down here, they absorb a percentage of your soul to continue to feed those sigils so that the dome will not crack or break. That's why you can't see outside it. Because it's literally a digital, everybody think it's a hologram. Think of it as a magical barrier that you cannot see outside of. And the reason why you can't see outside of it is because those constellations you see are magical sigils that trap the soul energy in it, cause you to only be able to see these magical symbols in the sky. You see what I'm saying? If you don't believe me, look up at your sky and ask why it never changes. For real. Why motherfuckers got a portal into this realm? Ask these questions. You see what I'm saying? Why is it so hard? Why we can't see outside of it? Why they got a portal into it? You know, if it was a free realm, they should just be able to roll up into this motherfucker, right? Shit, they should just be able to roll up. They shouldn't have the portal in here. If they gotta open up a vortex into this motherfucker, that means there's a dome, there's a barrier there that has to be pierced, like they showed you in Wakanda. You know what? They had to pierce a barrier to actually get to Wakanda. The Earth was one plane. Wakanda, which is the real world on the other side of this dimension, was outside of the firmament. Peep game here. Peep game. They showed you the real world was Wakanda. That's what the world looked like. Really is supposed to look like. People chilling, enjoying their lives, got their technology, got their magic, chilling. You know, got their way of life. When they leave out of Wakanda, they have to portal back into this realm through the firmament because this is a sealed off quarantine dimension. Peep game here. Dimension. So the stars in the sky, I need y'all to know, are actual magical sigils that are keeping the energy that is siphoning out soul energy from the moon to keep this shit running. If you don't believe me, you see beams of light that come out of the moon. Those are the energetic threads, the energetic grid that connects with. They try to keep it invisible as much as possible. They connects with these so-called constellation sigils in the sky, and they continue to send soul energy to them to keep them revamped so the firmament will not fall. You see what I'm saying? So this energetic barrier around us will not fall. So yeah. So let's continue here. Now that y'all understand what's going on around here, we can talk about staging the prison break now. You know, let's talk about this prison break for a little bit. And then we're going to wrap it on up. So now, the prison break / asylum break. We're going to talk about how this is an asylum later. Let's see. The 8 stages or 8 levels of awakening. First, you start to become aware of the fact that you're dreaming. That's the first level of awakening. Now you semi-awaken. Second, you wake up from the dream of the matrix and become fully conscious of what's going on. Alright? So now you know, alright, something really going on here. What's happening here? Next, you start to learn what's going on. So you learn that all the fuck shit the government has been doing is real. That's the conspiracy level, as they said. Next, after you bypass that, you level up some more, you get into UFOlogy. That's when you start to find out that all this shit is an ET cosmic war. It's a cosmic war of ETs. And we all are part of certain bloodlines that deals with these ETs. You see what I'm saying? Everybody is choosing their particular space or group right now. You know, some of us align with the Anunnaki, some of us align with the Syrians and the Atlanteans, some of us align with the Orions. You see what I'm saying? Some of us working with different empires within within empires. How about that? It's empires within empires around here. As they look at Earth, as everybody's all seeing eye on Earth, as Tupac once said, all eyes on me. All eyes on us right now. You see what I'm saying? So that's UFOlogy. Next, you get into the metaphysics. You start to get into knowledge of self and start to develop your own inner self. Next, you get into occult science, which is exploring those hidden aspects of yourself on a deeper level. Finally, you get into what we call higher occultism or supreme occultism or occult science. This is when you advance so far into your super consciousness and ultra consciousness, which is your masterminds and grand mastermind. You begin to wonder why the fuck you still here. That's when you free. Like, why the fuck am I still here? I'm ready to go now. That's when you have achieved a high enough level of consciousness to say, nigga, I graduated. What's taking y'all so long to fuck this shit up? Huh? When you gonna be done with this? When we gonna be done with this? Shit. So let's continue here. So these are the eight major levels of awakening. Why is it 8? Because music is done to an 8 count. And 8 also represents the number of infinity. It also deals with cycles, but in this case, since we're dealing with music, music is infinite. So yeah, so all music is actually done to an 8 count, if y'all didn't know. Now, Starseed Nation, the Muyans, Murians / Muurians, we are being separated from this dimension because we are vibrating too fucking high. So the Starseed Nation / Muyan / Murian / Muurian Empire are being separated from this dimension because we are vibrating too goddamn high. Why? Why? Let me read this first. The Bible says that right now I require 100% of your faith, but in the last days I will require only 10% of your faith. What does this mean? This means what's being said here is why. But since in the Pisces age you require 100% of your faith because you was in a dark age. We was waist deep in a dark age at that time, right? So they require 100% of your faith just to get through that shit, right? 100 as much of your consciousness you can muster just to get through that motherfucker on a daily basis, right? Next, but now it only requires 10% of your faith. That means you only have to tap into 10% of your consciousness to fully awaken and become aware of what's going on, like Lucy did. That's all it takes to goddamn get up out this motherfucker. Just 10% of your consciousness. Because remember, you are the byproduct of millions of years of your ancestors waiting on this moment to see you, the chosen one, awaken to who you truly are, so that you can take them and yourself on to the new world or the new earth or the new realm of dimension, which we are slowly shifting out of. So that 10% is all you need, because the world right now is vibrating so fucking low. That's what they meant by extra low frequencies and extra low vibration. Notice the word extra, not just regular low frequencies and low vibrations. Extra low frequencies and vibrations. So they vibrate so low that it don't take never 10% of your consciousness to make it up out of this shit. That cause the world is vibrating so fucking low right now. So now, so there you go. That's what it means. That is why we are separating. So rejoice, the great separation is at hand. So prepare your consciousness as we continue to shift to the new earth, new world. And I will end it off with Michael Jackson, Earth Song. see here. Can I make it a little bit brighter? Yes, I can. There we go. A message from Michael, y'all. A message from St. Michael. Y'all feel to their knees. They know what the fuck is going on around here. Christ only gives the Christ. you go. As he showed you the destruction of the world, and he showed you the restoration of it for the new earth. So there we are. This is World Ghetto. It's Marvin Jones. I ain't gonna take questions today because I barely got in the battery life left. Marvin Jones, y'all share this with your friends. Let them know what it is. Let them know what's going on. If you want to check out my other occult lectures, hit me up at the middle on YouTube. You can hit me up at mcjnetwork for donations. Also, if you want the 100 sacred needle names for $20, I throw in the 50 names of Marduk free. Hit me up in the messenger or email, mcjnetwork@gmail.com, and I'm out. Peace.